How about those St. Louis Cardinals? The St. Louis Cardinals outperforming expectations thus far throughout the young season. We'll talk about it on this episode of the Believe in St. Louis Cardinals podcast. Thank you for downloading the episode. Thank you for watching on YouTube. And we have to start, I think, this episode with something just about everybody's been talking about, and that would be Jordan Walker. Jordan Walker just completely blowing expectations out of the water, pretty much in line with this St. Louis Cardinals team. And I know if you're an avid St. Louis Cardinals fan like myself, you've probably already visited Jordan Walker's Baseball Savant page, but it's not anything that we hadn't really known was there to begin with, to be honest with you. It just seems like he is putting it together finally at age 23. And we talked about this before the season. Jordan Walker's only 23 years old. It feels like he's been with the major league club for forever. He's gone up and down, back and forth between AAA and the major leagues. And he's doing what a lot of prospect pundits thought he might do. And it really is incredible to watch. Now, it's only over a 12-game sample size, but he's hit 5 home runs already. He's batting .298, on base percentage of .367, OPS over 1 or 1,000 or however you say that. Now, there are some signs that maybe this is going to be short-lived. He is striking out a lot. He's striking out 28.6% of the time, which is in the lower percentile. His whiff rate is still in the 20th-ish percentile. Now, his chase rate is about average, so that's fine. And his walk rate is about average, which is good. And just about everything else is amazing. His expected batting average is actually better than his current batting average at 305. Slugging, 100th percentile. Average exit velocity, 100th percentile. Barrel rate, almost the 100th percentile at 99th percentile. Hard hit rate, 100th percentile. It's incredible to see. And the other thing that is incredible to see is his defense has actually been above average. It's been really good according to the Fielding Bible, which is a resource that I would recommend anybody check out. Jordan Walker's already has 2 defensive runs saved. And just for context, the leader is Cole Young, who's saved 5 runs. So there's a bunch of people, a lot of good defenders on this list that, haven't saved as many runs as Jordan Walker has in the outfield yet this season. And I don't think I need to tell anybody in St. Louis how big of a deal this is. If Jordan Walker, and let's not even pretend like he's going to continue this pace, because he's not. This is just an unsustainable pace. He'd be on pace for 1,000 home runs, 2,000 RBIs, which would be, it's not going to happen. But if he can be a reliable, and we talked about this on the last episode, if he can be a reliable 25, 30 home run guy, bat 250, 260, driving 80, 90 runs a year, that's a reliable batter in your lineup. That is somebody who, if he can develop as he's continuing to develop in the outfield, that's somebody you can put in your everyday lineup, maybe even bat 4th or 5th in the lineup every day. And that's an extremely valuable piece for your franchise. And oh, by the way, I don't know if we've mentioned this yet, he's still 23 years old. And he fits perfectly with the mold that this team is taking, with J.J. Weatherholt, Victor Scott, Ivan Herrera, Alec Burleson, who's the oldest one of the bunch. But still, you kind of get the point. These young birds are starting to gel and starting to grow together. And the unsung hero, the person that nobody saw coming, that we probably should have seen coming to this point, is Jordan Walker. And it's incredible. And I hope he continues this success, because, to be honest with you, this year, over the past 3 years, 2 or 3 years, it's been tough to watch Cardinals baseball. And I don't know what it is this year, and this is just me talking Cardinals fans, good vibes only type of deal. The Cardinals have been really fun to watch, and I don't necessarily know what's changed other than it's just a bunch of young players who don't know any better. And, they're going to be playing Boston this week, and offense has been struggling. So we'll see how that goes. But I wanted to get into some ups and some downs and, kind of go over the whole picture to this point. So my first up here is Michael McGreevy. And again, I don't know why the Cardinals were hesitant to put him in the rotation. I don't know why it's taken this long. And he started 3 games. So everything that we can say here can be taken with, short sample size. I understand, but this is all we have to go off of. 16 and 2/3 innings pitched, 4 earned runs given up, 10 Ks. Now the Ks per 9 is a little bit low, 5.4, but that has time to rebound just like everything else. The ERA and the WHIP is what I want to point at. 2.16 ERA, 0.78 WHIP. 1 win, 1 loss on the season. Now, Liberatore didn't pitch very well in his last start, but he's also been solid. This starting pitching staff, you can kind of see the pieces starting to form. Palante's been good. Now, we'll get to Kyle Leahy and Dustin May, who is in the downs, but, this you can kind of see that Michael McGreevy is taking a hold of one of these starting pitching rotations, because this year should be, and I think it is from the standpoint of Cardinals management, who can win one of these jobs, not just for this year, but for the long term. And it would look like that Michael McGreevy, now he might not be your number 1 or number 2 starter, but similarly to the Jordan Walker conversation, if he can lock down the number 3, number 4, number 5 spot in the rotation for the foreseeable future, that is something that's extremely valuable, because again, we're talking about a guy who's 25 years old. He's on the younger side and fits the mold of what is going to be the next iteration of the great Cardinals teams. And who knows? I mean, maybe he can be a number 2 or a number 3. We don't know. My guess would probably be not, but you never know. Liberatore certainly looks like he has a lot of potential too. I'll sneak him in this up section as well. He has a 3.38 ERA, 1.50 WHIP. Now he's kind of gone up and down, with the walks. He's walked 5 people. Palante's walked 7 people. So again, some of that needs to get cleaned up, but you can kind of see these different players start to take their spots. And now let's go to the downs, and that would be Dustin May. Dustin May's been downright dreadful in his 2 starts. 7 1/3 innings pitched, 17 hits given up, 13 earned runs, giving up 2 home runs, just 7 strikeouts over that. Well, I guess that's not bad, 8.6 strikeouts per 9, but a 15.95 ERA, 2.73 WHIP. Not good. Definitely need to get more out of Dustin May. And you need to get more out of Dustin May, maybe not for the future, because Dustin May is a 28-year-old player. So, I mean, the Cardinals could really go either way with Dustin May if he turns it around. If he pitches well, that's somebody they could extend and he could be a part of the future, or it's somebody that they could trade away at the deadline and continue to accumulate more and more prospects. Either way, obviously he's going to have to turn it around, but either way, I think fits what this team is trying to do. Now, this might be first we'll get to Riley O'Brien, who, coming into the season, I think we were all kind of wondering who would be the closer, and it really looks like Riley O'Brien has cemented that role for himself. And he has 3 saves in 7 games pitched, 1 win, 7 1/3 innings pitched, only given up 4 hits during that time. The ERA, he still hasn't given up an earned run, and the WHIP is really good, 0.55. So he's been really good. Also hasn't walked anybody yet. 7 strikeouts, 0 walks. So that's huge. That's the complete opposite of what we've seen from Stanek so far. He's walked 5 guys in 5 2/3 innings pitched. But overall, I would say the down would be the bullpen, because it's been extremely inconsistent to this point. And it's not necessarily something that is unexpected, because you have a lot of new arms in this bullpen. Ryan Stanek, Justin Brule, some guys who are getting their opportunity to be a full-time, like Gordon Graceffo's kind of been back and forth. George Soriano is somebody that they brought in. So again, there's a lot of different names here, and it might just take some time for these guys to find their role or to get into a groove. Now, Jojo Romero's been great. Riley O'Brien's been really good. So there are some names here, some guys that have performed really well, but it's probably just going to take a little bit of time for this to gel. And the bullpen, for right now is an adventure. So, if the Cardinals get deep into their bullpen, they might be in trouble. But again, I don't know about you, but and let me know in the comments or, leave a review. I've been extremely pleased with what I've seen thus far, and every team in the National League Central, aside from the Cubs, has a winning record. So we always like to say that as well. One more down. I guess we talked about it. The bullpen. The bullpen's been up and down, mostly down. But I'll just give one more up so we can have more ups than downs. The positive vibes around this team have been extremely good, and we talked about it in our last episode. But JJ Weatherholt just feels like he's taking over as the face of the franchise already, which is a huge deal. Completely different feel for me than some of the other prospects that have come up through the Cardinals system, like Dylan Carlson or Jordan Walker, or even Alex Reyes, who basically Alex Reyes got hurt in his first ever start with the Cardinals. So that wasn't, obviously good, but the Cardinals have done a great job of overhyping their own prospects. I don't know if JJ Weatherholt's been overhyped. I think he is as advertised now. He has, tailed off a little bit. He's hitting 244, on base percentage still really good at 364. OPS is below 700. He has a home run and 5 RBIs. But he's a young player, just like a lot of players on this team. He's going to have his ups and downs, and this offense as a whole is probably not going to be very good unless Jordan Walker continues to hit 1,000 home runs. But we'll see. Like players like Ivan Herrera, who are hitting below 200, and Mason Wynn, who's hitting 154. You're going to get more from those guys, especially from Ivan Herrera. So, that's encouraging. And of course, Nolan Gorman's kind of been up and down, mostly. I mean, he, 237, 2 home runs. He's had his moments so far, but we haven't really seen what we would like to see from Nolan Gorman yet. Still a lot of time, but we shall see. And again, when you create an environment like this, I think when all these positions are basically up for grabs, aside from a few, aside from second base with JJ Weatherholt and shortstop with Mason Wynn and possibly a few others, I think you can see guys rise to the top, and hopefully that's what we're seeing from Jordan Walker. So again, I think a lot more to be excited about with this iteration of the Cardinals and this group of young players. I mean, you can just sense some excitement around the fan base, and it's going to be interesting to see, because obviously they had attendance issues last year. It's going to be interesting to see how Busch Stadium fills up throughout the season, and whether or not Weatherholt, Jordan Walker, if he can keep hitting, Michael McGreevy, Matthew Liberatore, Ivan Herrera, Mason Wynn, some of these players can get the fan base excited again and maybe turn this thing around sooner rather than later. Let's get to what's on tap, brought to you by any beer company that would like to sponsor the show. Still waiting on that phone call. Boston Red Sox. The Cardinals are at Busch Stadium to take on the Red Sox. The first pitch tonight is at 7:15. Dustin May, hopefully he can rebound against Connolly Early. Connolly Early's been really good, 2.89 ERA in a couple starts thus far. On Saturday, Ranger Suarez takes the mound against Kyle Leahy. Kyle Leahy has been okay, about an ERA in the mid fives. That'll be at 6:15. And then the rubber game, or the third game in the series, Sunday, 1:15, day baseball, nothing better. Brian Bello, if I'm saying that right, against Andre Palante. And then the Cardinals host the Cleveland Guardians on, they don't have a day off on Monday, so they'll play April 13th. and then into 14th. And Libertor and Michael McGreevy will pitch on the 13th and 14th, respectively, against the dreaded TBD. So those starters have not been announced for the Cleveland Guardians, but I'm sure we will get those announcements in the future. In fact, I know we will, unless they decide to pitch no one. But again, let me know what you think of what's gone on with the Cardinals with Jordan Walker. Drop your comments, click the like button, subscribe on the YouTube end, download the podcast or subscribe to the podcast, leave a 5-star review. You've already downloaded the podcast if you're listening, so thank you for doing that. And until next time, be good, everybody, and let's go Redbirds.